I'm glad that somebody here pays attention, because somebody didn't know anything about any fees. And I found the fee station. It says visitors, no entrance fee required June, July, and August of 2024. There's the fees. Yeah, no fee box though.
Are we paying?
No, we're not having to pay for there's 3 months that not having to pay.
No fee box.
I just showed it. I just showed it. I just showed the fee box. You keep saying there's no fee box. How does having to pay a fee or not make the box physically there or not? You're out of your mind. You should get out and ride a gravel road. Get off my hand!
Tomatoes! Wolf Tick Nation, thank you guys for tuning into once again another Wolf Tick Videos episode. We are glad you guys are here because unlike any other episode you guys have seen before on this channel, we have got the Ozark Trail G.1 Explorer gravel bike. Alright, so we've got the gravel bike and we've got some gravel. Yeah, okay, now, most of the time when we go to the mountain bike trails, you can't really see the trails, but you see a big old trailhead, a huge map of all the trails and elevation. This out here, I mean, this takes me back. I'm having like some Oh Brother Where Art Thou vibes out here, okay? That and some Deliverance vibes. So we are in the WMA Holla Bend, ain't no holla back girl, wildlife management area right outside of Pottsville, Arkansas. This is their gravel bike trail. I mean, it's a bunch of gravel. It's beautiful, but we rode about 5 miles in just to get to this point I'm fixing to show you guys here in a little bit. And this is a 9-mile loop. We're gonna be doing initial impressions on today, or a real-time review on today's episode. We're gonna be picking this bike apart, seeing what holds up, what doesn't hold up, how a mountain biker likes a gravel bike lifestyle. I don't know. There's like nobody out here. This is a trip, but we've got some beautiful scenery up ahead, guys. So, man, without further ado, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, show your boys some love, turn those notifications on because we've got some upgrades coming on this bike. You guys all know about it. Thanks to the Wolf Tick Nation. That's why we got this thing. All right, 30 pounds, sub 30. Let's do this. Gravel bike, first time ever. I'm excited. All right, guys. Well, before we do the ride, we're going to show you around a little bit. This is what you get. I guess this is a completely new experience when it comes to gravel riding. Okay, this is what you get. We got this lookout tower here. 1 parking spot. This whole damn place, this whole place, every what, half mile? Every half mile there's a sign that says no parking. It's very strange. But I'm glad we found this. This is really nice, and this place is super well kept. Like, it's beautiful out here. The WMA Wildlife Refuge, Holla Bend. Ain't no holla back girl. Yeah, we're fixing to get on that bike, all right? Before we do, I want to show you guys this view. This is gorgeous. I love stuff like this. Wow. Dude, this is sweet. Yeah, hell. You could. This is not like mountain bike trails. You could sit your chair up here, get a cigar, and watch me ride off into the damn sunset.
I might do that.
Look at this. This is cool, man. The Trail of Tears. We got this action over here. Indian Removal Act of 1830.
Trail of Tears?
Yep. Let me get you guys a shot of the water. No. Oh. All right, that was you guys' shot of the water. It was terrible. This is cool, man. Wow. I mean, it's like 80-something degrees out right now, probably 87, 89, and it is, it's not muggy or anything. Like, I'm looking forward to this ride big time. All right, guys. Let's get a helmet on. Let's hit this gravel up. All right, guys, here we go with the Ozark Trail G.1 Explorer. Super excited about it. I got these tires filled up, probably somewhere around 50 PSI, 700 by 40C, and we are fixing to do this, baby. This is, like I said, it's completely new to me. It's completely open. I mean, there's going to be some nice shady spots through the trees, I'm sure. Over here in this area, have not been on this side whatsoever. This is a 9-mile Holla Bend gravel road loop. There's Lover's Lane over there, too. I might go visit that, see who's over there. But let's get after it, man. Size small, Seat post is adjusted with that quick release. I'm gonna have to adjust it some more before we take off. Brakes felt great right now. Hang on. All right, let's see. Okay. Here we go. Oh man. This, all right, she's catching gears nice. All right, I do like that. Catching gears nice. It feels so weird because I'm gonna have to be like bent over the entire time like this, right? Let me record on the Lezine. All right, we're recording the trip now. Feels so weird because the bars are, I think, 400 millimeters wide. And I've been doing some specking out on other gravel bikes to kind of get an idea of maybe some upgrades in the future. And apparently, there's some that are like 450 and maybe 480 or something like that. So this right here already, I can tell you, I think we're supposed to be riding more like in this position here. And it's not uncomfortable. It's just going to take some getting used to. And this gravel is going to take some getting used to as well, because you can feel every little pebble that you're riding on, especially with the PSI being closer to 50. I think it's supposed to be at 50. But anyway, the width of the bar is a little narrow. That's going to be lover's lane. We're going to skip that right now. We're going to go down this way. Yeah, so wider bar possibly already, because, I mean, I don't have the biggest of shoulders, but I do feel my chest kind of being pinched in, and I don't like that feeling. Wow, this is a completely new experience, you know. Mountain biking is so different because you've got just so much that you can't see ahead of you, at least where we ride. And the adrenaline is just, you're on all your senses are going crazy. This right here, I can see for a ways. I can shift, I can go, oh, is that where the shifter is? Okay, there's the brake. Like, I can get a full assessment on this bike just out here because it's nothing crazy, right? Or not crazy yet. And I like that. Like, it's pretty neat. It's different. I like this experience. Now, going back to the entire feel of the bike, since it is a rigid frame, everything, your lines, wow. Like, I got a whole new respect for it. And I'm just getting on this thing, okay, but I got a whole new respect for gravel riders and picking their lines and where they need to be. That's so much more important on a gravel bike than it is a mountain bike. You know, mountain bike, I mean, if it's a hardtail, of course, you got the fork up front absorbing everything, and you can get away with a lot of not looking where you're going. You know, you can kind of look ahead a little bit to see what's coming up and keeping speed in corners. But when it comes to this gravel bike, you can't do that. I mean, you have got to be completely focused on where you're going and picking lines. So that's where you change up. I'm looking more towards the front wheel area as I am, or as opposed to normally like looking about 10 yards in front of me. Okay, so getting my grips now. I was back here, but up here where these little horns are, I'm gonna call them horns, a lot more comfortable. I can see it being a little bit more of an issue when we go to shift or when we go to brake with the hand placement. It's not the most comfortable, but it'll do for right now. I just gotta get a good grip on these things. Again, the riding position is not the greatest. My seat is adjusted right where you would want it as far as getting full stroke on my legs, but I can feel that seat clamp. It's a quick release, but man, it's starting to sink down a little bit on me, so I'm gonna have to readjust here in a second. The bike's quiet. I mean, the only thing I was making some rubbing noises was the front rotor. Comfortable bike, other than the seat starting to drop on me right now. And just the riding position. I'm not gonna take on it, that's what it is, you know, it's a gravel bike. Oh man, that's nice right here. I got a little smooth patch. That's nice. I gotta kind of follow in everybody else's tracks here. Yeah, now we're smoothing out. That's what I'm talking about. Those big old rocks back there was not good. Shill's where it's at. Anyway, but man, I was so excited when we bought this bike because it was 248 bucks. Like, that's so cool. And now I'm getting to experience an entire different type of riding. You know, not that mountain biking gets boring, or the trails, like that never gets boring to me. But to come out here and experience a new bike on a completely different style of riding is very cool. So one thing it did do, and you know, it's kind of like what we try to do with our channel. We try to get everybody on the trails. One thing it did do is brought the tick out on a gravel trail, on a gravel bike for that price, you know. Budget bike, nothing wrong with that. Good looking. Every time I see this bike, I'm like, damn, it's a good looking bike. Let's go through some of the gears here. I'm already in, remember this is a 2x7. So it took kind of an extra gear or an extra shift, but now I've got the offset really bad with the chain, the small chainring and the largest chainring. So I'm gonna shift the largest one up to the larger. Okay, now we've smoothed out. Okay, now I gotta shift back towards first on the cassette. I forget what the numbers are on the cassette. If you guys are interested about any of the numbers and details on this bike, make sure you guys go back to the initial impressions episode and we spec it out. One thing I do want to make a correction on after some commenters, and I appreciate them. They weren't trying to correct me, but they're saying, oh, it's a little weird. I bought my wife one, or I bought myself one, a small, and the crank arms are 165. I said 170. I could have sworn I seen a 7 stamped on there, and there might be one on the inside of the crank arm. But these crank arms are actually 165 millimeters, not 170. We got some deer up here. You guys probably won't be able to see them by the time we get there. Anyway, but it shifts well on the front chainring. I was kind of worried about that, especially being on a 9 mile. I was really worried about being out here all alone and then something going on, you know, as far as the group set's concerned. That's a killer. You guys have seen those videos. Oh, I hate when the group set's failing on you on a real-time review, because we do a little bit of change-ups, you know, we'll do a little bit of tuning now. But for the most part, it's the first time I've been on the bike. I mean, not for the most part, this is the first time I've ever ridden on this bike, so cool experience so far. You guys tell me what it is. Right now, the angle, maybe it's this chesty. I don't know. I've got like a really bad pain in the back of my neck by looking up, looking more forward. And maybe it has to do with my posture on the bike and having to look up. But the bike doesn't feel too big for me. It actually feels just right. Maybe it's a sizing thing. I don't know. They say, I think the small goes from a 5'1" to a 5'9", which is crazy. Getting used to the shifters now. What are we in? 1, 2, 3. I think we're in 4th or 5th gear. I mean, the gearing's nice for what it is. I should say for what kind of trail it is. You're not going to be getting the gears constant in and out, and putting this thing through the gamut on a gravel road like this. This is listed as a green trail. It's completely green. I mean, it's flat as can be out here. But it is beautiful. All right, we're going to try these brakes out. Let's see. Oh. Shift that there to the smallest chainring. God, I wish this thing was a 1x. I got to get used to the 2x stuff, guys. Anyway, the brakes grab pretty good. I mean, again, there's no really elevation in here. I'm kind of climbing right now, but I mean, brakes didn't seem bad whatsoever. But what's driving me nuts is this seat continues to fall down. And it's not a case of like strapping it on there, making sure it's tight. That sucker is just like the clamp, you know, these little quick release nut there's. It feels super tight, but damn. Okay, got the sloth cam going. You're welcome. I feels a lot better now. And really, maybe that was an issue of my seating position, because now I'm leaned over a little bit more. I might have a little bit, you guys can see my legs there, I might have a little bit too much extension going on, but it does help with the lower back big time. Now I was talking about with the brake and the shifter, of course this one here is going to get us up towards, oh, well that thumb there is going to get us down towards 6th and 7th gear. This one here, that split, is going to get us towards 1st gear. And then of course we have our brake. What I was saying earlier was it's a little bit hard to grip onto the brake and shifters from this position, unless you're really choked up on this horn, maybe if you had some bigger hands, because I have to really stretch for that brake and grab it. I'm curious if there's going to be some adjustment in this brake lever to really get that maybe a little bit closer I don't know, but as soon as you go closer with it, it takes a lot of that throw, or it adds to that throw actually, that shifter. Here it feels a little stiff, you go to break it in there, and then it becomes a lot looser, so that's kind of weird. But it is sleek, and I do like that it's all integrated up here in itself, and it's not down here by the by your stem. You know, some of like the old school road bikes have those. That's not a bad ride. Again, the rigid feel is intense. I mean, it's a complete different feel, and I can't explain to you guys the skinny tires, the 40s. I've got to see some, I think 50s, 45 or something like that. Seen some of those here recently on a gravel bike, and man, they look almost close to like a 2.1. I don't know what they measure out to, but how it might be a 2.1. But the feel of this bike, as far as the rigid goes and the tires, from where it feels extremely different from a mountain bike, is it almost feels like it constantly wants to wash out from under you, at least with the gravel I'm riding on right now. Notice I'm trying to track on the dirt. We'll come over here on this side. It feels like if you're to lean your body to the left or to the right, it's going to wash out on you, because it's almost like it's floating over everything. Kind of a weird feel. Mountain bike seems way more planted. You know, this bike's only 29 pounds. I think is what it is, 29 pound bike. If we can lighten this thing up, I'll be able to fly on it. Right now I'm going 10 miles an hour. Let's go back to that big chain ring. Let's see how fast we can get on flat ground. Okay, I'm in the largest chain ring, and I've got it in 7th gear. I'm going for speed here. The back end's already wiggling on me. Okay, that's 20 miles an hour. Okay, 23 miles an hour I got up to right now. And while I'm stroking those 165 pedals, that rear end is fishtailing. Not only that, but it's crazy. I was talking about how long the crank arms are. They're, man, it's awkward. Very awkward. The crank arms right now feel like they're too short when you actually go to really pedal on this thing. And I was worried about pedal strikes. We're gonna have to worry about pedal strikes all out here because there's no big rocks. But it's almost like it's limiting you on how much pump you can get with your legs. I was like at a standing angle, you know? Kind of like, remind me like I was on a stair stepper, getting after it. And I couldn't get the full money, get it all in there. I couldn't do it because the crank arms aren't long enough. It's just very awkward. And they can't be 170s or 175s because we'd be on the ground right now. Employees only over there. You can see this is what this is out here. So far, guys, we have gone 2.32 miles. Not very much elevation change whatsoever. I kind of wish, I mean, I really wish that we had some clay to ride on. We might need to do that on the next episode because there's no clay out here. Ride on some clay, maybe like some Northwood stuff, like we're talking about with the Freeman Loop. I just couldn't imagine this being a really fun ride on a clay surface, at least where it's got like berms and things like that, because it doesn't feel, it feels like a bike that's prepared for speed. I just got up to 23 miles an hour on flat, right? It feels like a bike that's ready for speed, and a bike that is almost unstable in a way. It has an unstable feel to it, and I can't really get down into the bike. If the bars were wider, I think that would help with the comfort and the feel and the overall confidence with the ride. But with these narrow bars, you feel very top heavy almost. That's probably the best way to explain this bike.
The tires feel good. They feel like they're digging in, I guess you could say, to like the dirt area. But as soon as you get into like some really tall gravel, I'm going to call it, not necessarily like shale dirt or pebbles, but the tall gravel, it loses all that. You know, you become on a slippery surface, it almost feels. So that's one thing. Maybe that's just gravel bikes. You guys can leave in the comments what you think, if it's different. Different tires, maybe wider tires, I'm not too sure. They're doing really good with not picking up rocks. That's a big difference I've noticed. But I don't know, the bike does not feel like a rider's bike, I guess I could say. I'm a little disappointed in that area. It feels like I don't know, it just feels weird to me. I think maybe hopefully we could do some upgrades to making this bike feel for what I thought it was going to feel like, you know. A little more comfortable in the seating department. The seats, the saddle is very uncomfortable. I am wearing padded shorts and it's already starting to bother my butt. The bars being wider, a little bit more comfortable. They're a little awkward, maybe a tad bit angled up almost, but then you lose your brake leverage, literally. But the group set's fine. I thought that was going to be a big pain in the butt. I'm actually very happy with the group set. To get up to 23 miles on flat land and be able to probably climb a lot of things with this group set, since you have the 2x up front, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. This is a great bike. And we're going to go through a conclusion, but this right here is a great bike for somebody like me wanting to get out here on the trails and somebody that wants to come out and get a good workout, you know. If I wasn't filming right now, instead of having an 11.1 mile an hour, well, a 7 mile an hour average, it'd probably be somewhere around maybe an 8, a 9, you know. I'd probably be going a little bit faster. But it's great to be able to take the sights in out here, cruise along with you guys, and show you my first time the Wolf Dick Nation on a gravel bike. Again, a little unstable, man. That's all I can really say about it. And this position is gonna take some getting used to, because buddy, it is awkward. My neck is killing me, you know. Suspension seat, anybody? I don't know. Me interesting, but all right, guys, I think that's enough on this bike. It's not bad. I'm digging it. I'm excited about doing some upgrades. Let's go get back to Wolfman over there, and let's talk about the conclusions and the overall feel of this bike. I think that's enough.
All right, guys. Well, that was the gravel bike. I'm back now. We're talking about the conclusion on this thing. First time mountain biker ever on a gravel bike, the G.1 Explorer. Heck of an experience. I do want to say, right under 50 minutes, it was 9.56 miles, and I have an average speed of 10.2 miles an hour. All right, so the Zine computer is pretty cool. Keeps track of all that stuff. Now let's talk about, I want to talk about, after riding it, some of the positives and negatives with this bike, okay? Positives is the group set. I was able to get to 23 miles an hour out there on flat ground, right? And it was pretty much all flat ground. Very little elevation, very little de-elevation. Really, yeah. So the group set was good, okay? The tires were really good in the fine dirt to shale texture, but as soon as you got into thicker gravel, like stuff like this, you probably see me coming down the road, you start getting fishtailing real wobbly really quick, all right? The brakes, I only got to brake a couple of times when it comes to stopping, but that was one of the negatives that some people were saying we're going to have to upgrade really fast. I think what they're saying, they're not saying that the brakes are bad, because the brakes grab really quick. The really difficult part with this bike is gripping onto the brake lever from the bar position. With this horn right here in the way, you have to have some pretty big hands to grip that and it not be up here on the top of the lever, but as opposed to get the most amount of leverage on the lower part of the lever. The narrowness of the bar. I didn't know that this was the thing until I started looking at other bikes and doing research. You know, we talked about these bars being super narrow. It almost feels like, you know, like I said, I don't have massive shoulders. They're pretty big for a small guy like me in a chest area. But the problem is I almost feel like I'm pinched in order to ride this bike here, you know, and shift and everything else, which the shifters and all that are really accessible. But anyway, I'm almost pinched in. I would like to get a wider bar on this thing, and I think that not only would help out with kind of the feel and turning this bike, but also the seating department, because it'd feel more like my arms are supporting me as opposed to my chest and my shoulders.
Question. Did you see the comment someone left about flipping that stem over and giving you a little bit more rise on the handlebars?
That's a good idea, though. That's a really good idea.
He said it made it a lot more comfortable. Somebody mentioned that in the comments.
That's a really good idea, because I was talking about tilting these bars up a little bit, but I said, well, then it would be hard to get a hold of the brakes. But whoever commented that's an excellent idea. What's nice about this, the stem is it's the same on top and bottom, so it's not going to have any stamping or look like it's upside down. So that's pretty cool. I like that. We just might do that when we do the upgrade on everything else.
Did you learn how to use your larger chainring and smaller chainring?
Yes, I did. I was talking grapple about it, because it's hard for me to do two things at once and be taught. It's multiple, okay? I've got 4 different cameras. I'm talking to the camera. I'm filling a bike out for the first time, and I'm having to ride and shift it. So that's a lot going on at once. So it leaves me a little confused sometimes. But once I turned the cameras off, this reminded me of my old road bike, and I just got into the rhythm of things, I put on the largest chainring for a while and just rode it out, got to about 16, 17 miles an hour and kept that pace for a little bit, get me a good workout. And that's where this bike really shines. Like, it became therapeutic. After I turned the cameras off, mile 3, mile 4, right after that, I was just cruising and enjoying the ride. I have a whole new respect for gravel riders and picking their lines, because with a skinny tire like this, you really can't afford to mess up or go outside something, like a big rock or hit a big rock or a little bit of a culvert or maybe like a dip in the road. So with having to pay attention and not only look straight down where you're at, but where you're about to go is a complete different change up from a mountain bike rider's perspective.
Well, that's how I feel on my e-bike. I have to.
Well, I'm constantly looking about, like I said, 10 yards ahead of me on the mountain bike and seeing what I have coming up, But the speed in which this rides at, you can't really... You don't really have to focus too far ahead. You have to kind of focus right in front of you. So it's a trip. But I'm really happy that we got this bike. I'm very excited about it, because I think this is going to be a bike that we get to upgrade over time and really turn it into something and just get a good switch around, almost like flipping a house. Put some money into it and put some good bones on it.
Ain't nothing like flipping it. It's when you're going to sell it.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
No, that's the thing, I don't.
Yeah, upgrading this bike. It's going to be really fun to throw some money at this bike and upgrade it in a good way. That way you can just kind of see the entire transformation pretty quick out the gates, because this bike right here will get you out on trails like this in beautiful areas. And it's only $248. But guys, man, we appreciate you watching Wolf Tick videos as always. All right, if you're interested in this bike, some of the gear I'm wearing, you guys can check out the affiliate links in the description below. Right, help out the channel with that too. We do get a small percentage. You guys can become
and no cost to them.
No cost to you. You guys can become patrons. You guys can buy us a cup of coffee.
Yeah, if they can handle being a patron, it's a little rough.
You guys can send us some PayPal cash. We got some riding season coming up. But if you
guys
don't
have to do anything, though.
No, you don't have to. But if you guys appreciate the content, it'd be greatly appreciated. Just give us a big old thumbs up. That's free. Give us that like. Turn those notifications on. Hit that subscribe button, and we will see you on the next episode. That was awesome. I enjoyed it. I was a little hot on it out the gates because I thought it was gonna be a completely different something, and then once I felt, hey, this is a rigid bike. Ride it for what it is. And I enjoyed the hell out of the rest of that ride, but that was about just right at 10 miles, Good.
All right. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah.